Can you recall what you studied about Black history in school, college, or university? Whether you are talking about universities with legacies like Oxford, Cambridge, or Stanford, Black history is always censored and banned there. What's the reason? Why do they do something like that? Why are important events that give meaning to Black culture and movement suppressed? Why do the oppressors against Blacks always get away without facing any charges and punishments? Well, when evil characters and the state itself try their best to ban and wipe out that part of history that unites Blacks, Black culture fades. But we won't let that happen. Welcome to a new episode of Black Culture Diary, a channel where we talk about the people that are evidently ancestors of and superior to everyone, the Black. We scrutinize history here to bring the Black culture back on the surface again. In this episode, we will tell you about the censored Black history they are frightened to teach in school. That's the history which has been taken off of history books very prudently. Let's get started. Here you might be thinking about Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, who gave an identity to Blacks. They were the ones who united Blacks peacefully without going near an iota of using force. Truly, they are ideals, but Blacks in the world know about them. They cannot hide their struggles to get Blacks' rights and freedom. However, the Black history even we are talking about is a mixture of the worst form of atrocities, brutalities, and oppressions against Blacks. It's the Black Panther Party and movement that has been successfully wiped from history books. Even if you find it in some books, it's completely fabricated and tempered, written very carefully not to give Blacks a new zeal to unite again. But you should know, if you have heard about the Black Panther Party, it's completely different in reality. And if you haven't, it will be easier to learn about the havoc and destruction involved. To understand all events during the rise, struggles, oppression against and decline of the Black Panther Party, we have to go back to the 1950s when Blacks were fighting for their rights. It was when African Americans were getting inspired by the civil rights movement and united for equal rights in education, jobs, politics, and the legal system. This was when Martin Luther King Jr. rose to struggle and fight for equal rights. However, even if he was successful in uniting Blacks, police brutalities and juridical prejudices against Blacks lingered. In the 1960s, the time reached when Malcolm X decided to lead Blacks in the noble struggle for equal rights and freedom of life. He was seeing police injustices against Blacks while courts would most often sentence crushing punishments. It was getting out of hand. Blacks were facing difficulty in merely living and carrying out their day-to-day matters. After that, African Americans decided to go to Oakland, California, to create a united Black community there. Since Blacks would live near each other, they could care for each other. The influx was so great that soon, Blacks made up half of Oakland and gradually became the majority residents. However, the police force working in Oakland was massively dominated by white Americans. They would feel contempt for Blacks, making things pretty fragile sometimes. The feeling that police should also have Black officers were increasing, but with no fruitful results. Blacks were feeling marginalized and oppressed, and an event added fuel to the fire. A San Francisco policeman brutally murdered an unarmed Black teenager without any justification. The Black community in Oakland was shocked and terrorized. They couldn't fathom how that had happened and what would be their future in the country. Undoubtedly, there were feelings of anger and retaliation. However, this was ensured when the American government sent over 1,200 National Guard troops, artillery, and tanks to show the Black community that their feelings of anger would be deathly with iron hands. The defenseless Black residents were feeling threatened and humiliated, even after a Black teenager's tragic death. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video, and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and natural superiority. Let's continue now. Blacks were already feeling resentment about not getting basic rights and employment opportunities and facing discrimination even after the U.S. government had legalized the Civil Rights Act. This resulted in civil disobedience and uprising to show that Blacks were united now. They knew that the nonviolent resistance carried out by civil rights leaders had not worked and would never work. It was natural because Blacks were standing on the brink of hopelessness. However, before Blacks could make any move, the police carried out brutalities. Blacks were under God's mercy since they were neither armed nor had the power to defend themselves. This was when two Oakland residents, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, formed the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Not only that, but later on, the party took the form of what a state should be. It was struggling for self-defense, equal housing, employment, freedom, and basic rights, improving the lives of thousands of blacks. It was doing what a state was supposed to do. America was doing this for its citizens. However, it only considered whites as its citizens. However, due to the rise of the Black Panther Party, many whites and government officials felt threatened. They knew if blacks concentrated sufficient power, they would ask questions and hold everyone accountable who earlier carried out atrocities. Hence, whites started criticizing the Black Panther Party that was saving lives. They said that no group could take up arms and call it self-defense. But black leaders answered that. It was said that what is more logical? Standing armless in the queue, getting killed, or taking up arms and defending yourself? When the state itself starts massacring, people have the right to defend themselves. Something which is often suppressed in history books is how the Black Panther Party took action. Unlike what the books portray, showing the Black Panther Party as a gangster gang, it was more of an organized political party and an institution in itself. Members of the Black Panther Party would conduct armed patrols to see whether the police were working efficiently or not. Since the police often killed blacks, having the Black Panther Party at its back, the police could no longer do any extrajudicial killings. However, whites could not digest that. Carrying arms in public was legal in California. Hence, blacks were carrying arms in compliance with the law. But since the Black Panther Party was successful due to arm power, California made it illegal to carry arms. After a few days, the Black Panther Party leader Huey Newton makes headlines. The media and FBI tried to portray the Black Panther Party as a violent and murderous organization that should be banned immediately. To strengthen this argument, it was said that they killed a white police officer. But the reality was, the police had shot unarmed members, killing 2 of them. One of them, Bobby Hutton, was shot 8 times. But the court was blind to this, and following that, Huey Newton was arrested, falling prey to the biased court system of the time. It should be known that during that time, every white government official was seeing blacks as their enemy to eliminate any way they could. Hence, it was obvious how the police and court functioned. During all that, the Black Panther Party had not given up its responsibilities. Even it was creating social programs, feeding over 30,000 kids every day for free. But the American government and FBI were also finding faults with these social programs. They said that they were communist-inspired and hence should be banned. It becomes quite ridiculous to ban an ideology and followers of that ideology while being an ideology believer themselves. America loved capitalism and wanted everyone to follow that. But who said everyone is bound to do so? Everyone had the freedom to make choices, and this was what blacks were doing. The U.S. government put the FBI on the Black Panther, which could spy on it and its every member. Bobby Seale, the second founder of the Black Panther Party, was also arrested on false charges in 1968. Everyone knew it was unjustified, so thousands of people came to the streets of Chicago, the very place where he was arrested. He wasn't allowed to have his own lawyer. Even when he wanted to speak in court, the judge ordered him to be tied and put a cloth in his mouth. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. This was how even the courts were treating blacks and their leaders. After about 21 months, he was released. But by then, the Black Panther Party had been dissolved. The FBI unjustly did the same with every Black Panther Party leading member. The purpose was to make their lives so worse that they were left with no option but to break. The Black Panther Party was crushed, while blacks had to face the worst forms of police brutality. All this was for asking for basic rights and freedom, something white Americans were enjoying without struggling. But, as it appears, blacks were not expected to ask for their rights, no matter how ugly forms of aggression have been done against them. It's just incomprehensible that the Black Panther Party was treated this way, and hundreds of blacks died in the struggle. The American government just couldn't fathom seeing blacks uniting and loving the Marxist ideology to which Americans were hostile. Hence, blacks were murdered and tortured, while the part of history witnessing these events was censored and banned. What do you think? Why do non-blacks not want the world to know about this massive oppression against a black movement? Is it the fear that if blacks know about this, they will reunite and ask for their rights? Let us know in the comment section right below. Don't you think when history is wiped, censored, or changed, so can people's identities? Where would the Black Panther Party be if it was not dissolved? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody is talking about: the black culture, civilization, history, and the evidence proving black superiority. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.